Our bodies can be pretty weird, right? I mean, from those sudden jolts in our sleep to sneezing for no reason in the sun, we've all had those moments where we just have to stop and think, wait, why did my body just do that? Well, today, we're going to find out.
So, picture this. You're just drifting off to sleep. You're in that perfect, cozy state between awake and dreaming, and then, bam, your whole body jerks, your heart is pounding, and you are suddenly wide awake. What in the world was that?
Or, hey, how about this one? You walk out the door into a super bright day and, achoo, out of nowhere, a massive sneeze. It's not dust, you're not getting sick, it's just the light?
And oh, the classic. You're in a dead silent room, maybe it's an important meeting or a quiet library, and your stomach just decides to announce its presence with this huge growl. It's so loud, super embarrassing, right?
Well, get this. It turns out these aren't just random little glitches or quirks. They're actually echoes from our ancient past, old biological programs that are hardwired right into our DNA. Think of them as secret messages from our ancestors still running today. Let's start with some of the most powerful programs still running in our bodies, our ancient survival instincts. These are literally echoes from a time and a world that is long, long gone. Okay, so that crazy jolt you get when you're falling asleep, it's called a hypnic jerk. And the reason it feels so dramatic is because your brain is literally sounding an alarm bell, thinking you're in immediate danger. So here's what's happening. As you start to doze off, your muscles naturally begin to relax. But your brain, which is still kind of half awake, sometimes gets confused. It misinterprets that sudden relaxation as you physically falling. And what does it do? It sends out a panic signal to all your muscles to contract fast, like an emergency catch-yourself reflex.
And the leading theory for why this happens is pretty wild. It's a leftover reflex from our very distant tree-dwelling ancestors. See, if they relax too much while sleeping high up in a tree, they could actually fall. So their brains develop this built-in, wake up, hold on, alarm system. We don't sleep in trees anymore, but our brains, well, they haven't quite forgotten. All right, let's talk about another familiar feeling, goosebumps. The fancy scientific name is piloerection, and it's a direct line to our fight or flight response. It can be triggered by anything from being cold, to feeling scared, to even hearing a really powerful piece of music.
Now, for our furry ancestors, this reflex was super useful. The tiny muscles contracting would make all their fur stand on end, which did two things. First, it trapped a layer of air close to the skin to keep them warm. And second, in a scary situation, it made them look way bigger and more intimidating to a predator. For us, though, it's kind of a ghost of a function. The machinery is still there, it still works perfectly, but the thick fur it was designed to raise is long gone.
Okay, so some of these quirks are ancient survival tools, but other times our bodies do weird things simply because the internal wiring gets a little, tangled up.
And a perfect example of this is the photic sneeze reflex. It sounds completely made up, right? Sneezing just because you saw a bright light? But it is a very real and actually a surprisingly common thing.
Yeah, about 1 in 4 of us has this reflex. And it's probably genetic. So if you're a sun sneezer, you can most likely thank someone in your family tree for that.
So what is going on here? It's basically a classic case of crossed wires inside your head. The nerve that carries light signals from your eyes, the optic nerve, runs right next to the nerve that controls sneezing. So when a really bright light hits your eyes, the signal is so strong that it actually spills over and stimulates the sneeze nerve, tricking your brain into thinking your nose is irritated. It's a sneeze triggered by your eyes, not your nose.
All right, next up, another case of mixed up signals, the dreaded brain freeze. I mean, that intense, sudden headache has a ridiculously long scientific name, sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. But it's not actually as scary as it sounds. It's your body's clever way of protecting your brain.
It's a super fast chain reaction. The second something ice cold hits the roof of your mouth, the blood vessels there clamp down and constrict. Your brain senses this sudden cold shock and, to protect itself, immediately forces them to expand again to rush warm blood to the area. This super fast switch from constricting to expanding triggers nearby pain receptors.
but your brain gets confused about where the pain is coming from, and it misinterprets the location, making you feel it in your forehead instead.
So we've seen ancient survival instincts, and we've seen crossed wires. Now, let's look at the hidden genius behind some of the most simple, everyday things our bodies just do.
We've all seen it, right? You're in the bath or the pool for a while, and your fingers and toes turn into little prunes. For years, everybody thought our skin was just absorbing water like a sponge, but the real reason is so much cooler than that.
It turns out this isn't passive at all. It's an active, intelligent response controlled by your nervous system. When your fingers are wet for a while, your body intentionally constricts the blood vessels just below the skin, which causes the skin to fold into these wrinkles. And why would it do that? Well, those wrinkles act just like the treads on a car tire, channeling water away and giving you a much better grip on wet, slippery objects. It's a tiny, built-in evolutionary advantage.
Okay, how about this? You see someone yawn, and then almost immediately you have to yawn too. You might feel like you just caught their tiredness, but scientists now believe this is actually a powerful sign of empathy and social connection.
This all happens because of these amazing brain cells called mirror neurons. When you see someone else do something, like yawn, these neurons fire in your brain as if you were the one doing it. This creates this powerful, almost unstoppable urge to actually complete the action yourself. This reflex is stronger between people who are close, like friends and family. And it even crosses species. Studies have shown that dogs are more likely to catch a yawn from their owner than from a total stranger.
So when you put it all together, from a jolt that wakes you out of a deep sleep to a shared yawn with a friend, what does all this tell us about ourselves?
It shows that our bodies are like living history museums. We're carrying around ancient programs designed for a world we don't even live in anymore. All these little quirks, they're just our body's way of reminding us where we came from.
It's a fantastic reminder of just how much is going on inside of us all the time without us even realizing it. So that leaves me with one last question for you. What's the weirdest thing your body does?